What's up, guys? So most recently I did a video basically stating that with all of Quicksilver's new upgrades, there's a good chance that he could one day surpass the Flash, right? I never said that he was faster than the Flash. I merely stated that because of his new upgrades and the feats that he's been getting, there's a good chance that Marvel will be making him faster than the Flash. And just because I said that, these were the comments that I got in that video. And I'm not gonna lie, I really do enjoy you guys' confidence. I love it. I love that you feel so strongly. I love that you think you're right. Because see, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that belief, I'm gonna take that feeling, I'm just gonna throw it in the trash. Because first things first, I love how people will speak on what they think and not what they know. And even when they speak on what they think that they know, they're still wrong because there are things that they're missing. So, without further ado, let's get started. So let's go with this first comment right here. This guy says the Flash can travel the multiverse and he can reboot timelines. Well, no offense, anybody who can travel back and forth through time can do that. By simply moving one object or one item in time, you can change that whole timeline. So that's not an ability that he just has to himself, while at the same time there's context as to how he can and how he cannot complete that task. Now, what do I mean by that? First things first, most recently, Wally West was shot in his back, point blank range. He says himself that when a speedster is shot like this, specifically him, it's a weakness for him because he can't do anything about it. Now, Wally couldn't just travel back in time to fix it, right? Nor could he just speed heal. So what he did was he needed to use the cosmic treadmill. The cosmic treadmill is what helps speedsters travel back and forth through time accurately. It's not that they can't, it's that they need a way to do it accurately. This is why Eobarthon or Zoom or basically just Yellow Jacket Flash is how I like to call him, or Reverse Flash. That's how he was able to do it, because he didn't need a cosmic treadmill, because he mapped out the Speed Force. Because he mapped out the Speed Force, he knew where to go whenever anywhere he wanted to go, he could go. Whereas Barry Allen and Wally West, that was their problem. They had not mapped out the Speed Force. So anywhere they went in time, there was a chance they could have gotten lost. This is why in Big Bang, Barry Allen is doing what? He's mapping out the multiverse. He's traveling to other dimensions and other planets by vibrating, not running, but by vibrating to their to their universes so that he can, visit them. But in doing this, he has to be careful, because if he doesn't, he makes a mistake, he could get lost. He even clearly states that he can't just run to another dimension or another multiverse or another universe without extra help. He has to vibrate to that universe to get to it. So, let's just go ahead and just throw that out. But what's the next question? Yes, I like this one right here. He brings up the fact that Barry Allen was, basically in the Marvel Universe in Quasar, right? First of all, Barry Allen didn't do that by himself. He didn't. In DC's Big Bang, they explained what happened. The Anti-Monitor was using him as a battery. And basically what he did was to destroy his machine, or his cannon, however you want to put it. He basically had to run faster than life, etc., built up the energy and made it explode. That energy and that backlash is what knocked him into another universe. He didn't just do that on his own. There's context to that. So what you're saying, first things first, even if we said that is the Flash, which we know it is, but DC will deny it, at the end of the day, that's not a feat he has on his own, because it required an energy source. And all that energy source did was basically backlash on him and knock him in to a whole other universe. That's it. Again, it's not an ability he just has on his own to travel to Marvel, etc. He didn't know who he was, and he didn't know where he was. So it's just that simple. It wasn't something that he did on his own. He pretty much had help. Now, what's the next one? Now, this one right here, I love comments like this because it shows a lack of intelligence. The fact that you left this comment and none of it is spelled correctly or constructed properly, and you just, let's just go ahead and try to break it down. You're all like, well, of course, he didn't vibrate, etc. But what does that have to do with the fact that I said that, Quicksilver was able to run to other dimensions and other universes without having to vibrate? He was able to run to them. And then you bring up the fact that, of course, DC's universe is infinite. But again, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? You're not even making a real point. I said that what Quicksilver did was something that speedsters just haven't done. If they have, someone please show me. Again, I promise you, if you can find a scan like that, there's context as to why they were able to do it. But for the most part, if a speedster wants to visit another multiverse or another dimension, they have to vibrate to it, or they have to use a device, which we've seen in recent comics, or to travel back and forth through time. Most recently, even in the 1 Minute War, it took multiple speedsters plus a device or a machine just to build the energy needed just to rewind the clock. Because again, the Flash said himself he couldn't go back in time and save his wife, and that's just because of how the Speed Force has been acting up because of how many speedsters there are right now. The more speedsters there are, the more of the Speed Force that has to be divvied up to all of them. So they're not going to be as fast as they need to because there's just so much of it having to be shared. That's why when you have a speedster like Zoom who goes to a time or goes to a point in history or another multiverse where there aren't any other speedsters, he can use the Speed Force to his advantage because, again, he doesn't have to share it with nobody. But in this case, once again, I said that Quicksilver had gotten so fast that he was able to run to one reality and one dimension to another. He ran through them all. He did not vibrate to them. He ran to them. Again, most universes in Marvel are infinite. So if he's running through infinite universes, not vibrating and matching their frequency, no. He's running to them. That's a feat speedsters don't have. You're running, again, throughout Marvel, time and space, and as speed as they know it, he traveled to all those universes and those multiverses and those dimensions and those realities by running, which the Flash himself states that he can't go to another Earth by just running to it. He has to vibrate to it. That's a huge feat. That's literally a huge feat. And then as for the last thing that you said, where you were like, oh, well, other species have been in a place where you can't run without speed. Yeah, but that place is not the same as what, again, Quicksilver was. It versus most recently in the 1 Minute War, speedsters, basically time had been slow. The only way that you could actually react or move or counter other speedsters is if you were a speedster yourself, because this has something to do with time. This wasn't because of reality, etc. Whereas in No Surrender for Quicksilver, that was the case for him. But again, you probably didn't read that, and you probably didn't read 1 Minute War. So that's probably information you just didn't know. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's the next person? This guy right here says that the reason Flashes don't move at a certain speed because they don't want to, damage the world. That's not true. It has nothing to do with how they'll damage the world. It has something to do with how they'll damage themselves. Matter of fact, when we see Wally West running, and we see Kadabra basically trick him into running himself into the Speed Force, this is because, as as the love of his life states, the reason, the reason he did this, because when a speedster runs beyond the speed of light, 9 times out of 10, not all the time, but 9 times out of 10, it will run them into the Speed Force. This has happened multiple times when it comes to speedsters. It's not about how they affect the outside world. It's the fact that if they run too fast, they can hurt themselves. And that's just how it's always been. There is a technique to running, even in the newest Flash. Flash gives out, Wally West gives out a Flash fact, that basically everything that he does is because he has a speed shield, a speed aura, a speed bubble. That is what keeps birds from killing them when they're running, etc. It protects them when they reach a certain velocity, because instantly they just can't do that without charging up first, which is what we see Wally West does. For him to activate this speed bubble, right, he has to charge himself up so that he can just do it right when he runs. It's not an instant thing. It's something he has to charge up for. Matter of fact, that's like when a speedster uses Speed Mine. They cannot use Speed Mine while running. And this is explained because when a speedster is running, they're putting the Speed Force throughout their body. When they use Speed Mine, they're no longer putting it in their body, but they're putting all that Speed Force into their brain. This causes them to be open, which is why when Barry Allen did it, he got shot. Luckily, his instincts kicked in because of the Speed Force that allowed him to move just enough to where the bullet wouldn't go through him. So What you're saying is not true. Speedsters have to run. For instance, when Barry Allen fought the Antimatter in Big Bang, right? And he went around the world to use the infinite mass punch. It wasn't something he could do instantly. No. He had to run to do it. Matter of fact, even when you look at animated movies for the Flash, every time the Flash travels back and forth through time or he reaches a certain speed limit, he has to literally run around the planet. Even most recently in the newest Flash issues. Well, not the newest. No. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, the newest one that came out. You got Barry Allen Flash basically describing the fact that he's not even running at the speed of light. And he's already he's already just getting pushed to his limits. Because again, this is not something speedsters can just do on occasion. They have to charge up for it, or there has to be an emotional tether. There's always context to how they do these things. But it's not just something they can do all the time. For instance, Wally West, when he fought Eclipso, Wally West couldn't travel faster than light in an instant to get past Eclipso. So do you know what happened? The presence, aka God, gave Wally West the surge. And that is what gave him the speed and the necessary power to hit Eclipso before Eclipso could even react to him. That's in the book. You can be mad, you can be upset, but that's in the book. I don't know how you're gonna argue with that. Like, it's just that simple. There are characters that can beat a speedster simply because that character can control their molecules or their energy. Matter of fact, perfect example in Quasar, since somebody brought up Quasar. In Quasar, one of the gods explained, I think it was the Grand Master, he explains that when it comes to speedsters, the reason why he can talk with them and keep up with them is because he got super speed. It's because he's a godly being. It's because of how he views the world and how and just his existence, period. His power, what he had, like just his senses allowed him to be able to perceive them in ways normal people just can't. But again, when it comes down to, them being able to move faster than light in an instant, that's just not how that works. Again, speedsters have to run. They have to rev up. They got to get a little bit of distance. And for them to attempt to do it just off rip, they have to literally charge up. When you see a speedster running, 9 times out of 10, he's not moving faster than light. Again, the newest issue of The Flash shows that you got Barry Allen running, hopping, skipping, you name it. He is not moving at the speed of light. He's not. And it's just that simple. But yeah, this has been fun. I hope you guys learned something. But besides that, I'll catch you guys later. I'm King Lion, and yeah, let's just not do this again. But yeah, you guys have a great day.